ha 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 ha.
Oh, I seriously thought we were getting a musical episode for a minute there.
Yes, like that's okay. I need to go immediately to my notes because, like, that's what I just wrote. Is this gonna be the whole episode? Fuck! How do I recap a musical? How do I do
I was
this?
thinking after they got clubbed on the head at the end of the last episode, like, have you ever seen the musical episode of Scrubs? Where the woman is hearing singing all the time because she has a giant tumour in her brain, which is like an actual medical thing, apparently, that, you know, certain ways you can fuck up your brain and hear all speech as singing. So we get a musical episode of Scrubs. I was just wondering if someone had clubbed Peggy that hard with their gun that she was having musical theatre. I also like to, you know, musical theatre hallucinations. I also like the idea that Peggy Carter's just a massive musical theatre nerd. So after a brief noir meet-up with her brother, which was sweet, so I was hoping we'd get to see him again, but I am sad that he is apparently actually dead, if that is the idea that his dead spirit was communicating with her. Or again, it could have just been a hallucination, so maybe he is alive somewhere. I like that character way too much. Yeah, and then we get the musical theatre, which starts off with, again, a return of hallucination Angie. And, like, part of me is so happy to see Angie, and part of me is going to be so angry if that's her, that's probably her only appearance this entire season.
That's her only appearance this entire season. Now here's something. I knew this was coming. Not as a musical, but I knew there was a dream sequence in this episode, and it involved Angie. I knew that was coming. I had heard it. Since the beginning, I'd heard that this was a thing that was happening. So he basically had to keep silent for weeks and weeks, knowing this was coming.
I had not heard about this, but yeah, I was like, Angie! Oh, Dream Angie. And then Sousa turns up and breaks into his Broadway number.
Yes.
Couldn't stop laughing for quite a bit.
And now Wilkes is here, and Sousa is singing. And now this is a musical.
Just getting a romantic dance with Wilkes and with Sousa and with Angie and
I think Jarvis is in there somewhere.
With Dottie, and yeah, Jarvis turns up in a top hat and tails and a bunch of women wearing feathers.
Yes. What is happening? What is this? Why? Why? I also love, like, the sort of blatant, for lack of a better word, setness of it all. Like how much it was blatantly a set.
Yeah. And
like that.
Dream Space is a little sparse in terms of setting, so it's
yeah.
kind
I kind of love that.
Here's the dancing.
It's kind of like this weird artsy thing that you don't expect to see in a Marvel thing, where they just have this weird, just suddenly just like, here's a set from a musical.
Well, I mean, probably the idea was to make it look like a theatre stage, because, I mean, some musicals do have a lot of theatre, you know, stage setup, but a lot of the plays that work best are ones that you can do as minimalist as possible in terms of what clutter you've got on stage. And especially, you know, how reusable that clutter is, so you don't have to move stuff on and off as much. Depends on your budget, of course, but I figured the idea was to make it actually look like a musical stage.
Yeah.
And also just to be surreal in her brain-damaged hallucinations.
Yeah. I think that's... You know, I tried to think of why the Marvel Cinematic Universe isn't always the most amazing thing, is the fact that it is very much what it is, and very literal, and rarely is it anything else other than what it is. It is superhero,
doesn't dip into other genres,
live action, television, and movie fiction. And that's what it is. Like, this one already had the advantage of having a cool retro noir thing going on. But this time it's just cool to see, like, a Marvel thing just do weird stylistic things.
Yeah, the last time they really did anything that was, like, balls out weird was Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah. And even then, that was basically just a more quirkier version of, like, an Avengers movie with hints of Star Wars.
Oh, yeah, you could... Guardians of the Galaxy, it wasn't the first one they made. It was... they've been... making them with Disney since Avengers Assemble, but Guardians of the Galaxy, and along with Thor 2, were the ones where you could really tell that they had access to industrial light and magic now.
Yeah, that is true.
But it is telling of our cinema landscape right now that the most balls to the wall, that we're not actually catching a raccoon with a machine gun is that out there anymore. It is pretty out there.
Yeah. Out there in the galaxy
Hey.
that he's the guardian of. Eh.
Anyway, so, then after all our musical...
Clearly Guardians of the Galaxy 2 needs to be a musical.
Why the heck? Well, the soundtrack was already a pretty strong element of the first movie.
Yes.
Especially the dance-off.
Yes.
One of these days, I want Peter Quill to find an enemy that will have a dance-off with him for the galaxy.
If we have a Drax and Groot duet of, some 70s song, I will consider the sequel the greatest movie ever made. Don't go breaking my heart.
I just imagine Drax singing all the Groot dances.
That would be amazing. It needs to happen. What are we talking about anymore?
We got sidetracked from Peggy's musical hallucination.
To our own musical hallucination.
Yeah. Where, she wakes up, tied up in a truck, Kelsey, and, gets to work. We get a bit of a cut to Thompson getting Susan Samberly out the desert alive by taking them prisoner.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit where he's just like, oh, they're going, do you trust me? And Susan's like, no. Her face is just like, not remotely. And Tom's like, good enough.
Yeah, good enough.
And he just goes into this plan of pretending to be taken hostage so that they'll think, the guys who turn up think Thompson's on their side and listen to him when he says to take Susan Samberly hostage. And then, we'll get into the chain of Jack Thompson just entering scenes to betray people, shortly.
Yeah.
But,
So, Peggy and Jarvis escape and walk through the desert in which they basically pour out every issue they have ever.
Yeah, they really have it out while walking through the desert there. Oh.
I think Peggy just shut up Jarvis forever. Jesus.
Yeah, because, she's so mad at him, and I do not blame her. But, he is making some awful choices out of grief, but he should not have gone out there in the first place when he's that grief-stricken and that hurt and just not thinking that clearly. He kept insisting that he was fine to help, but he... I realise he's not properly tearing up during Peggy's wee speech about loss, And, she's not just she's talking about her brother, she's talking about Steve, she's talking about, probably a good chunk of the other men and women she knew during the war. And, the fact that at the end of it, that is all she has. Because there are shots of getting a boyfriend after Steve Rogers. One of them flew across the country and stopped taking her calls. The other one is probably not even a little bit human anymore, and also held a shotgun to her head recently. So, yeah. Also, I'd have to say when they start arguing in the truck, and then Peggy secret agent gadgets their way out, which I love. We haven't seen her using any gadgets like that in a wee while, have we? It's great. And then Jarvis is like, "Do we just jump out? What?" And she pushes him out, and is clearly enjoying that way too much before jumping out herself.
Yes, that was pretty great. Now, eventually, basically everyone ends up together to try to stop Frost by basically having truce of having dirt on everyone.
Yeah, which, first we do get to see Peggy properly punch up.
Which was great.
That was
he just enters, just punch.
That was very relaxing to watch. She just comes in and socks him properly in the face and just keeps wailing on him. It's great.
Yeah. I think the best part is that there aren't even people to stop her. It's not even people to stop her.
Yeah, just she walks into the SSR, covered in dust and mud, and doing just the quintessential murder walk up to the office. And then it's only when Sousa turns up that he's like, I think I'm going to stop her doing that now.
Now, meanwhile, Frost tries to use a needle to get Zero Matter, which does nothing. And Thompson meets with Frost in order to betray FBI Man from FBI Land. That's still his name, by the way.
First he gets everybody to work together to beat Whitney, but then he betrays Peggy and Sousa by fucking with their car, and, trying to set off the thing as a bomb that'll kill Whitney and Wilkes. Maybe, but, he betrays FBI man by saying he wants his spot on the council, so Whitney should kill him.
Now, in actuality, Carter and Sousa were left behind, and the cannon that was supposed to stop Frost has now been turned into a bomb, and the scientist guy tries to stop it using transmission, and things are slightly confusing now. What is going on?
Yeah, he just stops at the worst possible moment for Sousa.
Yeah.
No, Thompson, sorry. But yeah, Thompson has some proper chronic backstabbing disorder. Like, there isn't a single person this episode that he doesn't lie to and betray at some point. Every time he states what his goal is, he immediately goes back on it in that scene, so...
Yeah.
I think they're going for him ultimately being a kind of, Lone Ranger, greater good kind of guy.
So basically he's going to turn into a superhero.
Ugh, really?
Well, you said it yourself. What else would be a Lone Ranger in this type of series?
I mean, I worry about that ends justify the means kind of mentality he's thrown at the whole Zero Matter thing, though admittedly Peggy's desire to protect Wilkes is biased. But he is still... Poor Wilkes has gone through so much shit. I do not approve of holding the shotgun to a woman's head to get uranium. But the guy has just been through endless shit since being caught in that Zero Matter explosion.
Yeah. Now, Peggy infiltrates to try to save Wilkes, but Wilkes refuses and eventually locks himself in. But then he eventually finds Frost and FBI man and explodes into Zero Matter or something.
Because the episode ends there, so we really don't know. He just kind of sees Whitney and explodes.
Like you do.
Also, again, through this episode, the funniest character has been Manfredi.
Yes. He is the best.
When they're driving through the desert and he's the one who's just all this weird shit is happening around him, and he still focuses on such mundane problems. Like, he gets mad about Peg and Jarvis escaping, but he's just like, I got dust in my shoes. It's hot. I want to go home. I can't do the accent. Not the fact that he's got a possibly explosive guy with creepy eyes in the back of his car. And the comment about Wilkes' eyes looking like magic 8-balls was a little...
Yeah. My favorite part is that Manfredi was offended that the waste management facility was considered a dump. How dare you?
He's like, it's a dump waste management facility. He's so insistent on that terminology.
He is offended by this, sir. How dare you? He's a cartoon character. And he just leaves.
Just the best faces all the time, and also just the fact that, have you noticed his? I don't think it's a full theme tune, but he definitely has a riff that plays when he's around, and you can't tell me that wasn't like deleted music from The Godfather or something. Oh my god!
Yes, it's so good.
Like we keep saying that he's like a cartoon character, like, he's not in a series based on comic books or anything.
I love how he's just like, don't hold the door for me, I'm not a woman. He just no subtlety. None. And it's just so great. What are you? What is this person?
It's extreme the most stereotypical gangster they can make up.
I don't even know. It's just so goofy.
Yeah, I'm just scrolling the minutes and catching the moment where Peggy and Jarvis are arguing in the desert, and Peggy's talking about, trying to protect people, and Jarvis says, and yet everyone around you dies. And at that moment, just, my brother just, whoa, no, hey, dead nay. That was one line that just actually felt like it had physical force behind it.
Yeah.
Just, that was painful. Especially because he knows what a fear this is for her. This was the thing right back at in episode 1, when her roommate got killed. She talked to Jarvis about this and her concern about getting people around her killed, and don't do that. When you're arguing with your friends, do not do that. No matter how mad you are at your friends, do not do that.
I believe it's called a dick move.
That is indeed a dick move. Just like
Yeah.
English people clearly can't deal with the heat if this is what's going on. But you know, then they're immediately back to working together when that truck comes back for them, and you know Peggy's pretending to have fainted in the heat. Oh dear, I'm in a swoon. I'm too English for this weather. And then a cartwheel from nowhere to knock one guy out. I was just like, yep, I enjoy that.
I kind of love the scientist in this episode because he's just so happy to help with this entire evil scheme.
He's here for anything that doesn't get him shot. You know.
He's like, yeah, he is so. You know what I want? I want him and Manfredi to just like team up for no reason. Just like it's like almost like a sitcom duo.
This is why I want Field Agent Rose back.
Yes.
She was so much fun being in the field. And she has so much more chill than Sam really does.
Yeah. Just pull up three. Oh wait! Oh my god! I forgot the best part of the whole dream is how it ends. Yeah. Just like, sorry, he's just roasting. That Peggy's not talented enough. It just punches her. That is amazing.
Oh, that was so stupid.
That was the best.
I mean, again, as a musical theater nerd, I enjoyed that, but I love the idea that Peggy likes to hit Broadway when she's in New York. I just want to imagine her and Angie go to show dates all the time. Please.
I just love how the scene ends with just Rose knocking her out.
Yep.
That was amazing.
Oh, here's the other part that was physically painful to watch. That giant-ass needle getting stabbed into Wilkes.
Yeah.
I thought the camera was going to cut away from that.
Yeah.
No, that's the kind of thing that normally your camera cuts away from, but nope, not in this show. Oh. I normally don't have a
ABC
problem
don't
with
give a
needles.
fuck.
I get blood drawn quite a lot. I usually don't have a problem with needles, but that was a big fucking needle. Just going right into his collarbone, and oh.
Yeah, that was quite disturbing.
Yeah, I don't have many other notes beyond that point, other than Anna's hair is incredibly pretty still.
Yeah.
And Wilkes explode.
Wilkes explode.
Yeah, pretty much.
Wilkes use explosion. It's super effective. Actually, I do have this one last line. I forget who says it. I think it's the scientist who's basically like, well, that's okay. Wilkes is evil now. He's so casual about this. He's evil now. Whatever.
About the last few episodes, I think maybe it's just because Season 2 has a much larger cast than Season 1 that things feel a bit more all over the place. Because it's jumping around between a lot more different characters, and some of them, their motivations are incredibly unclear. Jack Thompson, mainly Jack Thompson, entirely Jack Thompson. But also, like, you know, the whole thing with Violet seems to have just vanished off the face of the earth, which I'm like, come on, Daniel, you were gonna marry that girl, and everything is just completely, without another word, gone now, really? I'm also disappointed because I really wanted Violet to have some use as a character other than being the conflict ball between Susan and Peggy. And she got that for all 5 seconds nursing Peggy, and I was really hoping for more of that, but no, she gone now.
Oh. I'm just wondering how Manfredi is trying to destroy Toontown in order to build a highway. Because he's clearly Judge Doom, and he's just disguised as a human.
Maybe I think Zero Matter is, what was that stuff in the movie that dissolved tunes? Maybe that's the thing Zero Matter is.
The what's it called? It was some kind of super generic term like the goop or something.
Pretty much, yeah. Maybe think Zero Matter will make good goop. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh my god. I wish I could do it in accent so I could say that line. So at the end of the season, it's gonna be revealed that he's the one that killed Peggy's brother. He'll be like, when I killed your brother, I talked just like this. That's clearly what's gonna happen.
So I am really curious about what's going to be going on with Wilkes or Whitney, and thus which one of them, if either of them, is going to be the final villain of the next episode. because it's unclear. Is Wilkes killing Whitney by doing this? Is he making her more powerful? Are they both more powerful? Are they just gonna get absorbed by some kind of zero matter monster? Like, what is going on?
I don't know.
What supervillain are they?
Who's that supervillain? It's Pikachu!
Except we gotta wait a whole week instead of the commercial break. I mean, you knew everything had to go to shit before the final episode, but I was also kind of concerned when Anna woke up the episode after she'd been shot, and I'm like, okay, if they're not gonna drag out whether or not she's gonna wake up, this means there's still like 3 episodes for something else horrible to happen to her, and that's when they drop the no babies bomb. So I'm hoping that's the extent of horrible things that are going to happen to Anna Jarvis this season. Like, reasonably certain nothing is going to happen to Edwin Jarvis, because, is it not confirmed that he was around during, Tony's childhood?
Yeah. Unless the series is going to create a paradox.
Well, it might turn out to everybody's surprise that even though he used Edwin Jarvis voice clips, Tony was in fact raised by Anna Jarvis. Like, I could not be less convinced that Howard was not involved at any stage of Tony growing up. But
that sounds entirely likely. Just end the romance stuff, please. Just no one cares.
I want another Peggy Whitney fight. I want another Peggy Dottie fight. Another 20 Peggy Dottie fights.
Yes, they're gonna fight for their right to party.
Fight for Angie's hand in marriage.
Yes.
Nah.
That would be the ideal situation. I'd like to imagine that happen, but Angie is just deeply confused at what Dottie is even doing.
Shit, Dottie's just there for an excuse to fight Peggy.
Sure, this will be the reason.
Yeah, I kind of just want to rewatch the musical number part of the episode and laugh again.
Yeah, that's just...
Yeah, next week should be fun.
Yay. Manfredi 2016.
Better than Trump.
Better than anyone. I, for one, welcome our new cartoon overlord.